The best builds for Sparkle, Sunday, and Tribbie is what we're talking about in today's video, guys, because you probably just pulled one of these characters in patch 3.4, and you want to know how to build them, obviously. So in today's video, guys, we're going to be going over the absolute best build for each and every one of these characters, but I will not be going into too much description on how they actually work. If you want to see something like that, then hopefully in the description below, I put down all my guides, full in-depth guides I have on each and every one of these characters, because I just won't have enough time to talk about what these characters do, plus on top of the build and everything like that, and you definitely don't want a 30-minute video of me yet. If you want to watch a specific character build in this video, there will be timestamps in the video for each one of these characters we're talking about. So without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and hop into it now, starting off with Sunday first. So let's go ahead and start off with his best in slot light cones. First, obviously, his best in slot light cone here, guys, is going to be his signature light cone, that being a grounded ascent. Now, what this light cone is going to be doing for him is after the wearer uses a skill or ultimate on one ally, he'll be regenerating energy for himself, and the ability's target will be getting one stack of him. This can stack up to 3 times. Each stack of him will be increasing the holder's damage, and after every 2 instances of skill or ultimate the wearer uses on one ally, it recovers 1 skill point. So literally this fixes a lot of the per se issues in his kit, because this gives him energy back, which will help him get to his ultimate faster, which in turn gives you SP neutrality with him. And then on top of this as well, you're giving a damage bonus to whoever you put this on. They can stack up to 3 times. So if you just get this at a normal S1 here, that's a 45% damage increase, which is absolutely massive right off the gate. But this is not the only option you can use here for him, guys, because you can also use But the Battle Isn't Over light cone as well. This is going to be Bronya's signature light cone, and it'll definitely be working for him as well, because this will also be increasing Kid's energy regeneration rate, and then also be regaining 1 skill point whenever the wearer uses an ultimate on an ally. It'll also be increasing the damage of the person that comes next after using the wearer's skill, so whoever your ally is. This is very much the same as his light cones, but worse in many ways, but still definitely very usable if you have this light cone option. Hopping in some other light cone options here for him, guys, Past and Future can also work as well. This literally works as the other light cones work, except it doesn't give you any skill points, it doesn't give you any SP positivity or anything like that. It's literally just going to be increasing the damage belt of the next person that comes after he uses a skill on them. And then the final option here that I would like to recommend is Dance, Dance, Dance. Every time he uses ultimate move, it's going to be advancing the action of the full team back around. And then if you guys wanted free-to-play options here, Meshing Cogs could also work here too. I actually use Meshing Cogs on mine because it gives him extra energy every time he gets hit or he hits an enemy, which you're never really hitting an enemy, but I have never found it to be the case that he hasn't been hit in battle, especially if you have him placed near the middle of the team. So if there's AoE attacks, he gets hit, which regenerates extra energy for him, which will then in turn allow him to get his ult up that much faster. Hopping into his best in slot Relics set now, guys, that's going to be the Ordeal set, and that's because first of all, it's going to be giving him a 6% speed increase, but on top of this, whenever using a skill or ultimate on one ally target, you'll be increasing their crit damage by 18%. This can stack up to 2 times, meaning you're able to give whatever ally you're buffing up to a 36% crit damage increase. Now you do want to make sure that he is speed tuned correctly with your ally, and we'll talk about that in a little bit when we get into his stats, but this is his best 4-piece set. Alternative sets you can run here, guys, is a 2-piece Ordeal with a 2-piece hacker space. This is going to be giving you an overall 12% increase in your speed, so if you don't have him speed tuned correctly, maybe you need a little bit more speed to catch up with one of your DPS or something like that, then this is definitely the option to run. Hopping into those planner sets now, his best in slot planner set is going to be the Lukasha planner set. Now this is going to be giving the first ally on the team an attack buff. Usually you're using him in hyper carry S teams, so you just put your main DPS in that first slot, they're going to be getting an attack buff, and then he's also going to be getting energy regen from this as well. But that's all that I have to mention in terms of the sets. Now let's go ahead and talk about what you should be building on him in terms of stats. Hopping into the main stats first, on the feet it's going to be speed, on the body is going to be crit damage, on the sphere is going to be HP or defense percentage, and on the rope is going to be energy regen rate. As far as those subsets go, guys, you want to be aiming for speed, crit damage, effect raise, defense, or HP to keep him alive. You do want to be hitting at least 180% crit damage with at least 134 speed, and genuinely with this, guys, you do want him to be speed tuned up properly with whoever the DPS on the team with him is. So if you have your DPS at 137 speed per se, you want to get him at 136 speed to make him 1 speed slower, because then it'll allow you to use the action of your ally, then use the action on Sunday, and then use the action of your ally again to double up on the turns you're able to get per cycle, or per rotation you could say, for your DPS. But that's all that I have to mention now in terms of the builds and stats. Let's go ahead and talk about his best in slot synergies. Honestly, just about any like hyper carry DPS in the game, so that being like Fei Shao, Dr. Ratio, Yunli, Clara, Blade, Jing Yuan, Aglia, Herda, Argenti, and Dragon Daniel. These are characters that can all realistically take use of what he's able to provide, whether that be a crit damage damage buff, damage percent buff, or even extra energy provided from the ultimate move. He can provide all of these different things. Do keep in mind though, you do give extra buffs out to whenever you're powering up someone with a memo sprite, right? So someone like Aglia takes a lot more use of this than a lot of other characters in the game, and whenever we get more characters coming out to the game that do play with memo sprites, he will be very, very good there and very beneficial for you there. But that's all that I have to mention on Sunday now. Let's go ahead and talk about the second character on this list, which is going to be Miss Sparkle Spoo. Oh, wait, pause, stop right there. Guys, if you've watched to this point in the video, you surely want to know what Sparkle is going to be doing, right? So make sure you hit the subscribe button now, because you might be wanting more HSR content in the future, and I would really, really appreciate it if you subscribe. Didn't you like that I scammed you there? Anyways, guys, let's get back to the video and back to the best build for Sparkle. So hopping into her best in slot icons first, her best in slot icon is going to be her signature light cone, kind of like how everyone's is today, but Earthly Escapade is going to be it. First of all, what this light cone is going to be doing, guys, is giving the wearer a massive crit damage buff, which will ultimately be helping out her scalings of giving whatever ally you're bringing back to the front a crit damage bonus. But with this as well, guys, you'll be getting a mask for 3 turns on her, and while mask is active, the whole team will be getting a crit rate and crit damage increase. You'll be getting a massive damage bonus all around the board for whoever your DPS is. Hopping into the second best in slot now, that's going to be the same as we mentioned before, but the battle isn't over. Obviously, I'm not going to go full into detail what this does. If you want to know what it does, go back to the Sunday part, guys. I don't know what to tell you. You read it on screen. Read? Question mark? And the third best in slot option here is going to be past and future. Some alternative options here. Dance obviously works. Smashing cogs can work here. And it's because she is so similar to Sunday in terms of just action and advancing that most of these light cone options here are going to be very, very similar to how you would run Sunday. And that also does carry over into the relic sets as well, because her best in slot 4-piece relic set is going to be the ordeal set. Obviously, like I mentioned before, guys, at a 2-piece it increases your speed by 6%, and then at a 4-piece, whenever the wearer uses a skill or ultimate on one ally target, you'll be increasing that ally's crit damage by even more. Alternatively to this, guys, you can run a 2-piece if you need her speed tuning to be in check with a 2-piece messenger of the hacker space, or a 2-piece ordeal to get that full 12% speed increase. That's all that I really have to mention now in terms of the sets. Hopping into the planner sets now, her best in slot, in my opinion, is going to be Broken Keel. Basically, you give her effect res here, and it'll be giving crit damage back out to the rest of the team. She is a crit damage fiend, and she gives so much crit damage to your ally. So you can even run Pinacone or Lukasha here as well, because both of these also give you energy regen, but give you better stats than what Von White can, and she's already giving me so fast it really doesn't matter. Hopping into the main and subsets now, starting off with the main stats first, guys. For the boots, you want speed here. For the body, it's going to be crit damage. For the sphere, it's going to be HP or defense percentage, and on the rope is going to be energy regen rate. For the subsets here, guys, you want to be aiming for speed, crit damage, and effect res here. These are really the only things you want to be aiming for here. Obviously, 30% effect res if you're running Broken Keel on her. In terms of the speed, guys, I would recommend at least 161 speed to play Hyperspeed Sparkle. Now, you can always run -1 Sparkle as well, but with her only advancing the action by 50%, there is no guarantee that you're bringing your DPS back to the front, like, immediately as soon as you use her, right? And honestly, this is the one major flaw in her kit, in my opinion. They try to balance this character out, and they just made every other one broken. So, hey, kind of L on her part. But realistically, guys, I would just say run her 161 speed and get the ball rolling there, okay? That's all that I have to mention for you there. In terms of the DPS you're building for her, though, I would definitely be building them with attack boots here. Don't even try to speed tune it. It just doesn't work most of the time. You can maybe make it work if you're big brain, but I'm not big brain, so I'm not going to sit here and try to make it work for you. While we're still kind of on the topics of teammates, let's go ahead and talk about her best in slot synergies now. Number one of which being Mr. Danny Don Hung. Now, Danny Don Hung obviously really, really good here because of the fact that he uses 3 skill points, but let's be honest, blood is kind of washed now. So realistically, the newest best in slot for her is going to be the new free character you've gotten on your account, and that's probably why you pulled her, right? Archer. Archer uses 2 SP every single attack. He increases max SP, you increase max SP, so you get a lot of max SP across the board. She gives SP back from her ultimate move, so all around you're going to have an absolutely amazing day here. You can also run Fushwin on the team here too, because Fushwin is quantum. If you have more quantum characters on the team, that's a bigger team-wide buff you're going to be providing to the rest of the team, right? So realistically, Fushwin is going to be the best in-slot sustain option. Other alternatives here, guys, if you had E2 Acheron, she can work really great on E2 Acheron team as well, but that's really it in terms of what I want to talk about with the teams for her. So let's go ahead now and talk about the final character on our list today, Miss Tribbie, the #1 support in the game, in my opinion, and that's for good reason. She's an absolute fiend, being pretty SP positive, giving you fucking amazing follow-up damage for being a support, and then just doing massive vulnerability and effect res down on the enemy, and then at E1 you get even further beyond that, which you probably pulled for E1, right? You pulled 2 copies of her. Surely. But hopping into those best installed icons first, her best installed icon is going to be her signature icon. And honestly, guys, as sad as it is for me to say this is her best installed icon by a pretty wide margin, because this is when Honkai Star Rail really got into the shit of, hey, if you get their signature light cone, it is like 10x better, okay? So yeah, this is a really good light cone for her, guys. And the reason that is because, first of all, it's going to be increasing her crit damage, but on top of this as well, whenever she launches a follow-up attack, you'll be getting extra energy back for her, so just getting her ultimate back up that much faster. And she'll also be getting the stack of prestige, which will be increasing the crit damage of all your allies by a really big margin as well. So not only is she doing debuff to the enemy, you're giving a huge crit damage bonus to whoever your ally. Like, this is absolutely massive for her, okay? And like I said, it's like a 40% increase to what the second best in slot is. But with that being said, you don't have to run this if you don't want it. You can also run Dance as well at S5. You'll be advancing the action of the whole team by 24% at S5, so definitely do recommend this. I have tried this light cone out. It does help out really well. Obviously, like the other options, meshing cogs, memories of the past can also work here. Help with her energy regen to get her ultimate back up really fast, because, you know, her light cone really does give her a lot of energy back. So overall, these are some other options that can be ran here. And she'll also be doing a lot of attacks as well, so you'll be basically procking this off at all times, even if she doesn't get hit. So there's really not much RNG except for the one turn she has to use skill here. Now let's go ahead and hop into her best in slot relic sets. So her best in slot 4-piece is gonna be Poet of Morning Collapse, because she's not running like a lot of your other supports. You run her really slow, right? Because what this set's gonna be doing is, first of all, increasing her quantum damage, which, you know, she's doing follow-up attacks, so she's getting great damage there. But on top of this, you'll be decreasing her own speed. If her speed's under 110 or 95, you'll be increasing her own crit rate by 20 or 32%, depending on what your speed's at before entering battle. So that means if you have a speed buff character like a Ruan Mana team, it will not be affecting this ability at all. It's pre-battle stats, so none of the extra speed you might be getting from any of your allies matters at all here, but this is the best in slot because she is a sub DPS. But that's not the only set that can be ran here, guys. You can also run Longevious Disciple. It's going to be, first of all, increasing her max HP, which will be increasing her overall damage, but on top of this, whenever the wearer is hit or consumes HP themselves, they'll be increasing their crit rate by 8%, and this can stack up to 2 times. This is obviously not as strong as Poet of Morning Collapse in terms of like the crit rate depart even, but this can be run if you already had this set on her. Definitely would recommend farming Poet of the Morning Collapse, but you don't necessarily have to do this. But now I want to hop into the best in slot planner sets. The best in slot planner set being the Bone Collector set. Now the Bone Collector set, guys, will be increasing the wearer's max HP, but when the wearer's max HP is over 5,000, it'll be increasing the wearer's and their Memo Sprite's crit damage by 28%. So this set plays into her overall damage she'll be dealing to the enemy. You really do want to be stacking Corrupt like a DPS would be stacked up. Another set that can work here would be Inert Salsado, especially if your crit rate is on a check here, because it'll be increasing your crit rate by 8%, but it'll also be increasing the follow-up damage and ultimate damage by 15%, which is her main source of damage. It does not affect her additional damage. Keep that in mind. Now hopping into some of her main and substats, starting off with those main stats first. On the body is going to be crit rate or crit damage, depending on if you can get her crit ratios in check. On the feet is going to be HP. On the sphere is going to be HP, and on the rope is going to be ERR. For the substats, guys, you do want to be aiming for crit rate, crit damage, and HP percentage. Now you can run a fast Tribbie, though I don't really recommend it. Now we'll be talking about the pros and cons of a fast Tribbie here in a second, but the main focus of this video, guys, is going to be on a slow Tribbie. In terms of what you want to be aiming for in those substats, you want at least an 80% crit rate while in battle. You also want at least 160% crit damage. You want the energy region to be as high as possible, so speed to be as low as possible, and your HP percentage to be over 5,000, because if you are running Bone Collector, you do want over 5,000 HP for her. Now, guys, what I want to talk about is the pros and cons of fast Tribbie. The really big pros here, guys, is you get more SP generation because she comes back faster, meaning you can use her basic attack more often, which leads to overall more SP for the team. You'll also be having quicker access to her ultimate move, so that means more damage from the ultimate move and possibly more frequent follow-up attacks that she's able to do. That also means if you're running Dance on her as well, you're able to get your team's action advance even faster too. Cons here, you're probably going to be dealing less overall damage. Relics are definitely going to be a lot harder to get because you will be needing speed, crit rate, crit damage, and HP. And generally just slower buff durations, right? So these are the reasons why I don't really like fast Tribbie that much, because overall it's pretty minuscule what she's able to provide. I think slow Tribbie works just fine for your team. In terms of her synergies, she works for just about everyone, guys. She can work for the Herta, she can work for Aglia, she can even work for like an E2 Acheron, she can also work for Argenti, Phasia, like she can work for everyone, and that's because of the debuff she provides. They're really unique in really high amounts, and also with the HP increases, she works for casterist teams. She just works all around the board, guys. Definitely the best hands down Harmony character in the game. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for today's video on covering every single build for the 3 reruns we're getting. If you like videos like this, then leave a like on it and let me know in the comment section down below if you do want to see this for part 2 of the banner when we get all of the other rerun units there. Or maybe you want to see them in separate videos. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. But that's going to do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Subscribe if you haven't already. And that's going to do it for me, guys. See you later. Bye-bye.